All right, we're good to start. We have a very loose agenda for tonight. Basically, the intention is to share authentically what this business is like, what the opportunity can mean for each person, and share a little bit about what our testimony is and why this business feels in alignment. And we've previously done this where we kind of have an outline and it's shares a lot of the questions, but I feel like it is more authentic if we just have a conversation around what kinds of things might be questions that each of you have, what things have made this so passionate for us, and kind of go from there. And then if you have specific questions that are on your mind, we can weave that in as well. So if you want to unmute yourself, if you have specific questions that you know of already, we can make sure that we address them. Anybody have anything in mind that you right off the bat want to know more about? Or are you good with a loose agenda? Okay. So I'll share my kind of why doTERRA fits in for me, and then Britt, Sarah, Helen, anybody, if any of you want to share, and we'll just make it as an informal discussion. But for me, doTERRA is a very passionate business. I was introduced about 6 years ago, and at the time I was working as a pediatric speech pathologist. I was semi-fresh out of grad school and had a lot of student loan debt, and to compensate for the student loan debt, I was working a lot of hours. The job that I was working at the time also didn't cover paid time off. And so for me, there was this vicious cycle of working more to pay off the debt that I had received after grad school. So for me, doTERRA offered a glimpse of a different reality. Rather than putting myself on a hamster wheel to try to pay off the student loan debt, I saw this glimmer of a different way of living, where I knew I wanted to have kids later on, but knew that the cycle that I was in of working 80 hours a week as an SLP wasn't going to provide the opportunity to raise my children in the way that I felt passionate about. So starting out with doTERRA, it was something that I did on the side and built a business that was able to replace the income as an SLP in about 2 years. That was my intention of making it full time. It doesn't need to be a full time. It can be side. That part was just my passion. And then from there, what has shifted and transformed has just been, I think back to how lonely I felt in my social circles, and now feeling so connected and inspired by a group of women that have continuously kept my cup full, and it's inspiring to be around like-minded people. And that's one of the things that I love. I love being able to do doTERRA full time and be able to have a flexible schedule and be able to weave that in with parenting. And then the part as far as connecting with doTERRA as a company, I feel like I fully trust what the company represents, what their mission is. It feels in alignment. And so for me, it's really exciting to be able to share that mission with my own authenticity in a way where I can connect with people and build relationships, and also share lifestyles that work for us. And so it kind of hits all of the boxes for me, and is exciting to see how it continues to grow and expand. So that's, I guess, in a nutshell, kind of where things have gone for me. And so now I've been doing it for 4 years full time, and I love it. I don't regret one single bit of this journey. It's been a lot of growth and a lot of excitement, and being able to continue to dream has been awesome. So anything, Sarah, Helen, Britt, that I maybe didn't share that would be helpful to share that you know about me? I think I pretty much shared.
That we know about you.
Yeah, that I missed that you feel like
Yes.
You want us to talk about you?
No, but like, is there anything that you, no, I just mean like, is there anything that you feel like from, I don't know. I think we're good.
Yeah, I mean, definitely just hearing you say that checked off all of the boxes for me too. And the support that we've gotten from each other, and just, I mean, with this past year being the way that it was, to just have that community and to feel like we haven't even skipped a beat.
Mhm.
Things are different, but it's still like we always have something to look forward to. We have support.
Mhm.
That's just something I've never really been exposed to in the working world, and doing things. I've been an entrepreneur for about 10 years, and I've gone at it alone. So to have like that encouraging support where everybody's just rooting for each other and it's not like anything cutthroat. And just one thing to like add to it too, which I think is really unique to doTERRA, is that it's not about getting people to join this and do it as a business. It's really more so about educating people and teaching them how to use oils and natural solutions. And we don't have that pressure as people doing this as a business to have to go out and like search for people. It's just like when you meet the people that you know shine the light already, that are already the type of people that you can see yourself hanging out with here, those are the people that we invite to things like this, because we don't have to push the business on people. Like the oils sell themselves. So it's just a really cool, something I haven't seen in like the multi-level marketing world.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'll pay on that and say, and Allison knows this a little bit about me, is that I joined doTERRA shortly after Katrina, after you went full time, and didn't sign on initially to be a wellness advocate. And I ended up in what was a nonprofit slash very corporate like setting. And what I found, to your point, Britt, is that I got this glimmer of people in this, especially like really powerful women that were really excited about a similar mission to help people and to help uplift them and to help move them forward. And, but the setting just wasn't the right thing to fit who I was as a person. And so, getting connected to you guys again and really kind of digging into what it is that I want authentically out of my own business. I think I love the fact that there's nothing else I'd ever heard of. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I've worked in hospital systems. I worked in clinics, and never have I been presented with an opportunity that I could have my own individual business, but at the same time have such a community of people and have a team. So like, the expertise just between Katrina and Britt alone that I have exposure to, but also, we have, nutrition specialists, we have yoga instructors, we have teachers, we have administrators, we have, everything from top to bottom on our team. And so it's that connection to some of that expertise, and that, for what you were saying, Britt, like that really non-competitive, uplifting, constant encouragement is just not something that you can usually do either in any normal work setting I've ever been in, or in any, I've worked in, MLM before, and all companies their compensation plans are really designed for you to compete and push and do all that. And this is really just a personal development to find your authentic business and your authentic truth in your business so that you can create what is just amazing for you. And so I really, that's what drew me to it, because I was coming out of an experience where I couldn't be myself in my own work and my business anymore. And I really wanted to grow and have that part of myself just be completely authentically at the forefront of what I'm doing.
Mhm. I love it. Authenticity is a big thing that comes up for me as a reoccurring topic. Be able to build a business and be authentic and true to yourself. I can remember waking up as an SLP, like and this is crazy to admit it, but I used to, if it was Monday, I would wake up and I'd be like, okay, when was the last Monday that I canceled my workload for the day? And I would rotate through because I was so burnt out. So it would be like, oh, I just canceled the visits on last Monday. I got to really work today. And then it would be Tuesday. Well, I haven't canceled in a while. Like I could take a day off here. And to show up each day, like I wake up excited to connect with people and work, and it's just a refreshing, authentic way of life. So I love that you brought that part up. Britt, do you want to share a little bit about your journey as well? And then maybe Helen and
Yeah.
Sarah, if you have more in your journey that you want to share.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I've been in the health and wellness realm since about 2011 when I started massage school, and I was always drawn to the more like natural side of things, but I didn't realize that there was this whole world out there, and the way that I had seen things done in my household growing up was, it wasn't really like to say on the natural side, everybody was grabbing for Advil or finding a quick fix. So that never felt right for me. And I think that's what led me towards massage. I had been introduced to essential oils in massage school. Didn't really light me up at that time. It just wasn't something I cared too much about. And then in 2018, in that February, I was introduced to doTERRA oils. A friend of my mom's, friend of Katrina's, came to my house, and I had just a small get together. I thought it was going to be just like having a pampered chef party or something like that. And as soon as Katrina started sharing things, I was like, all these light bulbs were going off at me. Like, this makes so much sense. Like, of course we would use peppermint for respiratory stuff. And I can like, just reflecting back on that night, just remembering how excited I was to like actually see this and put it to work in a way that I had never thought to do before. So I wanted to just use them in my home. I wanted to, just use them in a diffuser basically and make some cleaning products. And pretty quickly I started bringing them into my massage practice with my clients, and I wanted to help everybody. And I was really generous. I would give away roller bottles to people. I was like trying to figure out, how can I do this as part of my business? And I really felt at that time very unfulfilled with it, because I was just, people who weren't asking for roller bottles, I was sending home with these like pain relief roller bottles or whatever I knew they had going on. I would send it home with them, and I checked back in with them the next time, like, how are you doing with it? And Katrina had reached out to me a few times over like the year or so, or almost 2 years, and asking if I wanted to get involved with doTERRA. And I was like, so apprehensive about getting involved in an MLM. There is just a lot of stigma around that with me and like people around me. So I was not interested. I was like, I'm just going to do this on my own. I'm going to share the oils with people in a way in my practice. And really just treading water, got nowheres with it. So I went, I really don't even know how you twisted my arm to go, Katrina. No, I'm just kidding. But we went somewhere to Buffalo to like this, learning more about doTERRA as a business. Just, I was being entrepreneurial mindset at that time for my own massage practice. We went to the meeting. It was really the first time I heard about lifelong vitality. I'm sure, Katrina, you did a wonderful job in telling me about it, but like, I didn't hear it. And at the end of that meeting, I was just like, I need to get these supplements in my life. Like, they're saying all the things that I need. And at that point too, just hearing the education behind it, that's who I am. I'm a nerd when it comes to learning about all things holistic, and hearing about all of the testimonies that people had that were at that. So I was just like, this is such a cool community to be a part of. And hearing it, after that from a few different like business calls and things, it finally made sense to me of like, no, I don't need to be making roller bottles for people. I need to educate people on why they need this in their life, how it's going to benefit them. And then look at all the people that I get to help. Like, it's no longer just the person I'm giving the roller bottle to, but maybe I'm empowering a mom who's going to change things up for her kids, or, a chiropractor who's going to share it with their patients. Like, that's what it's all about, is the education. And I've always been drawn to that. And trust me, I vetted doTERRA. I was like doing everything I could do to find something shady about them. And like, there is nothing shady. So just with all that being said, it's been so eye-opening for me to receive residual income, because I was always somebody too who I would plan out how many massages I was giving that week, and that's how much money I was making. And I couldn't always count on that to happen. So now with just teaching people, and then they love the oils, they use them, they order them regularly, they share them with people, you get referrals, and you're making money and you're not even sure where it's coming from. Like, that's nothing I had ever been used to before. And it's just so fulfilling. I've been in other positions where I teach, and it's doesn't really fill your cup up if the people listening aren't that interested. And so when people are ready to just empower themselves and change their health and their life, it's just such a form of momentum that I can't even explain, because I don't have words to put to it, how exciting it is to get that shared.
I found myself nodding the whole time you were talking. I'm like, yep, agreed, agreed, agreed.
Mhm.
I think we could probably talk for hours on just, there's so many different avenues that this business is fulfilling. It's awesome to be a part of, for sure. Helen, are you, not to put you on the spot, but do you mind sharing a little bit about your journey?
Not at all. I think I've used different kinds of oils for years. I always found them interesting, but I never felt like I knew enough about what I was buying to know whether or even what benefit I was going to get from it. But I knew I liked the smells of them. I bought some of the jewelry with the lava stones on it, and put a few drops of oil on, and, gave them as gifts to people. But I never really looked at them for any health type of benefits. So I've been going to Brittany as a massage therapist for quite some time, and it was always a great visit. I always came away from with more than I took in there, with education about, whatever retreat she'd been on or whatever was going on at that time. It was always just a great experience. And so, I saw that education side of it a little bit. So when she approached me, I mean, I'm a very new wellness advocate, but a couple of 3-4, I guess probably 3 months ago now, when she approached me about doing it as a business, I thought, oh, I don't know, if I'm qualified, I don't know. But then I got thinking about the education and how excited I was to get that education, and how important, and the changes that had been made in my life by just trying the Lifelong Vitality Pack. The supplements, again, were something that I always wanted to know a lot about, and of course find the best benefit and value, but never really found anybody who could help me do that I trusted and believed in, like I did Brittany. So I felt that was really pivotal in my health journey, which, has been long and hard, but it's been a momentum that I've not experienced in many, many years. So doTERRA has, and the community is, I have to echo that throughout this group. This community is head and shoulders above many others that I've been in. So kudos to all of you for that. And, I encourage you new ladies to really consider that as a deciding factor, because the support and encouragement is the whole deal.
Thank you for sharing, Helen. Excited to have you a part of it. Sarah,
Thank
did
you.
you have anything else that you wanted to share before I kind of wrap up, some closing thoughts?
I just, Helen, I appreciate you saying that. I think that it's the community and the support are a huge piece. I also think that what you described as far as inspiring, I think we're always looking for something that's going to light that flame within us again, right? That we've gotten pulled away from the things that feel best and right and aligned and all of those things, that authentic part. But what you just touched on was really that it ignited something in you to get excited about. And that's, for me, you know, Katrina has had complete grace with me because my life has ebbed and flowed. I have two littles at home. I had started a new job. Things are busy, and this business allows for me to take a step back when I'm in a season where things are just busy, and step forward and give it full force when my heart is there. But that flame hasn't ever gone away, no matter whether I'm in that season of expansion or contraction, because that everybody's still there and consistent and present with their encouragement, and there's never any level of judgment or criticism or anything like that ever in this entire experience. When I say I need a minute, it's really busy, and I've got two toddlers, and one of them doesn't go to bed for 5 hours, and I'm exhausted, and I've got a Rottweiler that slept on my back last night. Like it's those, like, I can't get on the call tonight. There's just this complete grace to that, and I appreciate you saying that piece about lighting that part up in you, Helen, because that's really what this is for me. Is just it's a spark, and it's something that's grown, and it's something that I really love to be a part of. And I'll also mirror the lifelong vitality. I actually had, for me, the big life-changing experience for me was after I had my second daughter. I had a lot of physical consequences, and the supplements, and it's not education on that, but between the supplements and the oils to help with the pain, to manage the neuropathic pain I was having and things like that, it was just a game changer. And I couldn't wait to help other moms and other women be empowered with their health, because when we go to the doctor, we're not, and this is a place where we are. And I spent enough time in the medical field to know that we deserve to have that level of holistic health that is just completely different than anything else I've ever been through. So I appreciate that. Thanks.
Thank you for sharing that, Sarah. Oh, I'm nodding when everyone is talking. It is such an awesome experience. So some thoughts that kind of came in fleeting. Helen, you had shared something around not knowing if you had the education, or, feeling like you had that knowledge. And I appreciate you bringing that up, because I think that's often for people one of the initial hesitations. And so just to speak to that, and kind of like in some closing thoughts, we work together with this. So with it as a business opportunity, if it is something that you choose to do, you have your own business. So like Sarah said, there's, not somebody breathing over your neck, but rather locking arms with you and going where you want to go. So I heard this analogy a few weeks ago, and it's resonated with me ever since. We all have our own boat, and our boat might be a yacht, and it might be a fishing boat. We all get to choose what the boat looks like. And every boat has their own captain. So we all are the captain of our boat, but every boat needs a navigational tool. And so that navigational tool can go straight line, roundabout, whatever, but the captain needs a navigation tool. And so what's cool about this business is you get to be the captain of your boat, and then there's support in the navigation to build a successful business. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Everything is outlined and supported with what the steps are to be successful. It's a proven way of being effective, and then you get to weave in your authenticity. And with that integrated in is the education. So typically how we pair up is those, education moments where you're teaching others how to use it. You're kind of in like an apprenticeship. So you get free support where you're gaining the education on how to use oil. So a lot of, like, to what Brittany said, this business is teaching other people, and that knowledge doesn't just have to appear from thin air. You'll be supported in that. Another thought that came to me was around children. And, for those of you that are joining that have children or littles, this business is accommodating to that. We all are in different stages of life, which is what's cool about this, is we all come together in this melting pot community. But many of the women that are on the team have little children and are able to, be flexible. We record things. You can watch them when it is, or you can have a child on your lap. There's been calls before where one of my daughters is on my lap. I've done calls before where I'm nursing a baby, like whatever. Bring them aboard. They're a part of this too. And it, for me, I just posted something today, but last year, 2 million women left the workforce. And I think where I'm ignited again with doTERRA is with the business, because what it has offered for me, and this gets me a little bit emotional, but what it's offered for me is the chance to be a mom and be all in for whatever my children at this point, whatever my children need, and also be all in and feel successful as a business owner, and not having to leave the workforce to be a mom, not having to leave being a mom to be in the workforce. It encompasses it all. And so I just want to speak to that. And then the last thought that I have has left my brain. So I guess, oh, in hesitations or any other like thoughts that are maybe something that you're nervous about, I've heard people before say, I don't want to be salesy, or I'm not a salesperson. And I want to speak to that because I don't feel as I'm a salesperson either, but I do have a heart to help other people. And I have a passion for being authentic. And so for me, I think if a person isn't a salesperson, awesome, join us, because we're not salespeople. We happen to sell something, yes. And I'm not ashamed of that because I'm passionate about it. But you don't have to be a salesperson to be successful in this business. And so I just wanted to share on that. And, you know, there's other thoughts that creep in for people that, you know, this won't work or whatever. If there's a calling inside of you to explore this, I would just encourage you to give it a try. There's no harm in trying it out and then finding it's not for you. And also, if you do try it and you love it and you're sharing this lifestyle with other people, hundreds of people's lives will change. Thousands of people's lives will change because of one person. If I hadn't made that decision 6 years ago, I don't know, this call would be, you know, you might be having this call with somebody else, but it would be with this group together at the same time. Like, and that was one person's decision. If she hadn't, Wendy, who's the person that introduced me, if she hadn't had that class, I would still be working 80 hours a week trying to figure out how to be a mom in that, like one person. So if there's an internal calling or a nudge to explore it, I would just invite you, let's keep having conversations. We also have a system where everything is outlined. So you have a little guidebook that has everything written. There's some videos that you can watch so you get all of the information on how to be successful with this, and you can do it in your leisure. And then our team has community stuff that we do. So we offer continuing education throughout the week. We offer team education and support once a week. So you have access to all of that as well. Any other maybe things that are on your mind? We can have some open conversation around maybe some thoughts that you have. Nothing is silly to ask if there's anything in your mind, or maybe any of the ladies, if you have something that you want to share, go ahead, Britt.
I was just thinking that there is not like an initial investment or anything you need to make too. 'Cause I know a lot of people ask me like, oh, do I have to buy like all the oils first or something like that? And that is not the case. Like you just build up your collection because you want to, not because you have to. So
Which brings up a great point. Let me just do a quick outline. So the way that this business works is you share oils with people, educate them. So by sharing oils, that might just be through a conversation or through sharing some of our own oils. So like if somebody is interested in trying peppermint, I might make up a little sample bottle with peppermint that I also use with my family and give that to them. So when we share oils, it's just our own that we're also using for our family. You share, you educate, and then support. That's basically the business model. And there's a bunch of tools, but that's the premise, is connecting with people and teaching them how you use peppermint for your headaches. So it's a pretty clean model as far as how the steps go.
one last thing I wanted to say too was that you do really just have to be a product of the product, but more so because you want to. And I found that with myself, like now I use oils for so many things that I would have never even imagined that I would use them for. But just like it's learn as you go, and it's inspiring to stay healthy and to eat right and to do all the things, because people are looking to you for that advice. And so you've got to practice what you preach. And I love that about it. It keeps me like super accountable to my health and well-being. So
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Being around, I don't know if anybody has heard this, but we become the average of the 5 people that we spend the most amount of time with. And I think for me, this community has been part of that average that keeps encouraging me to expand how I'm taking care of my body. So I will agree on that one for sure. Yeah, it's, I hope tonight what you have taken away is this is a very heartfelt business, and we all feel it deep in our heart that it is making an impact, and we would love for you to be a part of it if it's something that is nudging you. And if it doesn't feel aligned for you, that's okay too. We're completely committed to meeting you where you're at, and locking arms with you if you want to be a part of it. So the next step, if it is something, you would connect with the person that invited you tonight, have a conversation. They can happily share with you what the compensation plan is, what the income earning potential is. If that's something that you're curious about, you can reach out to any of us on, even if it wasn't the person that introduced you. We are here as a community. So if there was a person that resonated, the person that invited you will be your support person. But if you just want to pick the brain of Brittany or Sarah or Helen or myself, because there was something that we're like, I want to know more about that, reach out to us. We're all side sisters where we're supporting each other. So reach out, ask the questions. But the next step would be to set up a next conversation with the person that invited you. And then you can jump into whatever amount you want, and you get to choose what those goals are. So that person would help you out with that, what your time commitment is that you want to do, what your goals would be, and then work with you to achieve that how you want to. So that would be the next step. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Otherwise, is there anything else for tonight? Good.
I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead, Catherine.
I feel like it's really silly, but
No such thing.
I talked to Brittany a lot about the oils lately, just because, like, I don't know, maybe because of my son, I'm just getting into more of the education aspect, as you guys were talking about, because I'm like just realizing everything has chemicals in it. So, like,
The grand awakening of becoming a parent when you're like,
Yeah.
oh crap. Yeah.
So, like, I had one of my friends today. She was just asking how I was feeling because I'm like 5 months pregnant, and she's like, I was like telling her how I've been using the oils because I've been trying to help my allergies and stuff. And she's like, oh, well, be careful with those oils because some of them aren't good for you pregnant. And I was like, okay. So I figured I would just ask because, you got like the scammer oils and stuff like that. So obviously they're not doTERRA, but so is that kind of like one of those things people just say, or like, is there any oils that really are not safe during pregnancy or what?
I will definitely field this question because I have used oils for 2 pregnancies. And
Awesome.
it always cracks me up because people will tell you to take synthetic drugs, prescription, over the counter stuff, and be like, oh, it's safe for pregnancy. And then the moment that you want to put a plant into your body, they're like, no, what are you doing? And it's always like,
Right.
what? So I would say clary sage is an oil that in the beginning you want to limit the use of. I just didn't use it because there's so many other things that you can use, because clary sage at the end of your, like when you're in labor, use clary sage. It actually stimulates your contractions. And so I had a natural delivery with both girls, and clary sage was one of the oils that I used to help increase the contractions. As far as during pregnancy, I reduced the hot oils like On Guard, oregano, more of those intense internally, just because that was what was comfortable for me. But a friend of mine had a conversation with Dr. Hill, who's one of the main, like one of the owners of doTERRA, around this exact topic. And he said if he was pregnant, he would use all oils like normal. He said that there's not been any research that would tell you to do otherwise. What the mainstream media is presenting are, there's many adulterated oils, and you don't know what are in those chemical, like the chemical additives. An essential oil bottle only needs to have 25% of what it says it is. The rest can be chemical fillers. So I do get concerned when it comes to that exposure, just as I would if you were sniffing a candle your whole pregnancy, because there's just a lot of chemical exposure with that. But when it comes to doTERRAs, I am very confident and comfortable with the use of oils all 3 ways. And I just limit hot oils internally, still use them topically and aromatically. And then I limit clary sage.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking that question. Anybody else have anything? Catherine, there's also, she's called the Essential Midwife. If you want some literature that would help, just be, sometimes it's nice just to have resources. Essential Midwife. She has a book on pregnancy and labor and delivery in babies. It's just Essential Midwife. If you want to look at that, she goes over different common health concerns that you experience and what you could do from an oil perspective.
Awesome. I figured that would be like a good way, to promote doTERRA too to other people, like, hey, here, use this. Because I've had a lot of issues with this pregnancy. I have like plantar fasciitis in my feet that Brittany tried to help me with. And I've had really bad nausea and migraines that they can't figure out why the migraines are so bad. And like the oils have really helped. I feel some days I feel just more hydrated, and I don't know. I feel like it does make a difference. So I was like trying to tell my other people, hey, like try this and don't use candles.
Yeah. Catherine, if you're able to stay on just a little bit after, I would be happy to share some other pregnancy hack things with you if you're interested, because I experienced some of those symptoms during pregnancy and had some resolution. So I'm happy to share some other ideas. Yeah. Well, any other questions or thoughts before we wrap up? All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. I appreciate your time. I know I'll speak for all of us when we say we appreciate you coming and just hearing what this is more about, and look forward to further conversations. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. If you want to stay on and learn about pregnancy, you're also welcome to. That wasn't exclusionary to only Catherine. I just was wanting to be cautious of everyone's time. So feel free to stay on if you want to talk about babies. Otherwise, have a great night.